Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of the 442 podcast. I'm Uzair Toni, and as always, I am joined by an extremely grateful Tommy Sondi.
Thank you very much, Uzair.
And an extremely despondent Toni O.
Morning, boys. Excited to do this.
So, gentlemen, how was your weekend? How was the first weekend back of Premier League football?
Fantastic, right, Uzair?
I thought it was lovely. I can find absolutely nothing to complain about. How about you, Toni?
See, you asked two questions. How was my weekend? Pretty good. First weekend of Premier League football? Pretty shit. And, we'll get there.
I mean, I guess if we're talking about shit Premier League football, why not start where the Premier League weekend started and get right into it with Arsenal 0, Brentford 2.
Sure.
Toni. Please, tell us what happened.
I mean, we've been looking forward to hearing this for the whole Saturday, Sunday. I can't wait for Monday morning just to hear Toni talk about Arsenal.
Look, if you think I'm gonna go off on some ridiculous rant about how Arteta's lost the plot and Edu's out on vacation while we haven't signed any players, and look, this is probably the lowest that Arsenal fans have felt since, I'm sure you'll remember, Uzi, we lost to Man United in 2011 when we lost Fabregas and Nasri and Clichy, and
Probably my favorite game of all time.
Of course it is, yeah. And
Beautiful.
in that game, we still had Van Persie, we still had Walcott, we had a trolley dash at the end of the season, at the end of the transfer window. One of which was, ironically, Mikel Arteta. But look, the hopelessness of the situation was incredible. We were playing Brentford, and I think most of the Arsenal fans watching that game knew it was over the moment they scored first. And what does that tell you about the rest of the season? There are not enough goals in this team. There are not enough goals in terms of the players on the pitch. There are not enough goals in terms of the playing style that the manager has set for us. And I don't know.
So I think it's worth pointing out that for this game, when you talk about goals, both Aubameyang and Lacazette were ruled out through, I believe, illness, like maybe a day or so before the game. Do you think that could have helped in any way? I know Aubameyang has been beyond rubbish for the last 12 months, but do you think it could have changed anything? Or I feel like I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
It feels like a convenient excuse. I mean, I imagine Brentford seeing the team sheet, they see Balogun up front, and they're buzzing. Because, it's his Premier League debut. He's played 27 minutes of actual men's senior football. But I don't know, I've seen this performance a lot with Lacazette up front. I've seen this performance definitely a lot with Aubameyang up front. And maybe Lacazette gives us more presence. But most of Arsenal's play came down Kieran Tierney's wing, beating his man, putting the ball in the box. Neither Aubameyang nor Lacazette excel at attacking crosses. And that's our only attacking outlet. So, I don't know. This result could very well have happened with either of them up front. We need a new striker. We've known that for at least a season now. Aubameyang, as you said, has been rubbish. We needed a new midfielder. We needed a new creative midfielder. And what did we go and spend 50 million on? A ball-playing centre-back. Meanwhile, we have a perfectly useful one that we sent out on loan. But makes perfect sense, right? I don't know. I don't know what this master plan is. I don't think there is a master plan, if I'm being honest, and I'll be shocked if Arteta is still here in January. But we have bigger issues than him. Edu's a problem. The Cronkies are definitely a problem. But Looking forward to playing Chelsea in a couple of weeks or so.
You know, Tony, you guys always find a way to beat us, no matter how dire your situation is, no matter how good Chelsea is. Somehow Arsenal beats us.
I don't think it's happening this time. I'll be completely honest.
I hope that's true.
We're in a complete shambles at the moment. We have Lokonga playing central midfield beside Xhaka. He did okay, but yeah.
I would say he was probably one of Arsenal's best players on the pitch. As in, he didn't embarrass himself.
No, he didn't. He will be a good player. He'll be a very good player for us, but it's just, yeah. I don't know where the goals are going to come from. It's really sad.
Speaking of goals, I do want to talk about that second one conceded, because that might have been some of the most GKSSA men's league level defending I have ever seen. Like, I'll skip past the fact that Leno was being held a bit there. How does a ball bounce so slowly across a box without anyone going for it? That's phenomenal to see. Oh, it was glorious.
I will conveniently take a second to describe GKSSA for our listeners. That was the men's league football in Kingston, Ontario, which is where we all met, playing for the now highly regarded Boca Juniors.
Highly regarded?
They
were at the time.
If you don't check the league table this season, Tommy, yes, highly regarded. But
they were highly regarded until Toni and I left.
Yeah,
proper.
Don't know what you did with them.
Yeah. Look, Leno. I mean, that's another problem. We need a new goalkeeper. His mind's not been there for a while. He's been talking about leaving. We've been chasing Ramsdale, which is ridiculous. But yeah, he was weak. I said it to a friend when we conceded the goal. It was like the ghost of Delap, like the ghost of Rory Delap. Like, can we do it on a cold night at Brentford? It's ridiculous. Like, this is what happens. I always said this. You're signing a ball-playing center back, and Ben White did a lot of nice things on the ball, but a ball can't bounce in your box from a throw-in. It just can't. And he got socked underneath the ball. Leno allowed himself to get bullied. I'll be honest with you, boys. I grew up watching Arsenal, getting inspiration every week, every game, every time we touched the ball. I was excited that something could happen. I have not felt this. I've not felt like that for a long, long time. Maybe since Wenger left, which is quite sad. But
Tony, I was going to ask you, how do you sleep at night? But then remember, you probably don't, right? Do you?
No, once again, for the convenience of our listeners, it is 6:11 a.m. We were all up by 5 a.m. I have not slept. So, yeah, thanks, Tommy.
That's what Arsenal does to you.
Uh-huh.
Arsenal's defenders sleep enough for the rest of their fan base. But
yeah.
on the flip side of this, what a result for Brentford. First game back in the top flight for 74 years? And they beat one of the established Premier League teams. I know Arsenal are in an absolutely abysmal state right now, but they are one of the quintessential Premier League teams. They look good. And how much of that might come from Arsenal not being good remains to be seen, but do you think they have a chance of staying up?
I think if you're a newly promoted team, playing Arsenal on opening day is probably the dream.
Really ease yourself into the league.
Honestly, though, I had Brentford in one of my three teams that I think will be relegated. I don't know if I can read too much into this result.
Don't spoil it now. Don't spoil that now.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Save that for the second half of the show.
I'm just going to give you a little tease of one of them. But, it's hard to tell too much from one game, especially playing Arsenal. But I think they're going to be in for a tough season for sure.
See, I've been following Brentford for a couple of seasons now because they've been doing a lot of very interesting stuff in terms of use of data analysis, and very, very intelligent player recruitment and sales. I don't know if you boys remember Ollie Watkins. He was sold to Aston Villa, I believe, from Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. And he was replaced with Ivan Toni, who had a phenomenal season in the Championship last year. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on at that football club, and they've been earmarked as one to watch. They have this model where they try and pick up players who haven't made it in the Premier League academy and try to increase their value, basically, and then recycle them for profit. And the idea, or the common consensus amongst a lot of, I guess, experts is that that approach will only take you so far. And so it's interesting to see if that approach can get them, well, keep them up for one, and then maybe help them be an established club in the Premier League for the next 3 years. So I'm rooting for them. I'll definitely keep a close eye on them, but I was not surprised by their performance. I'll tell you that much. I thought it would be a really tough game. They were a really strong team last year. They were a really strong team the year before. And they will have more nights like this.
You can't understate the importance of having fans back in the stadium as well, because that place was rocking. It was so amazing. Much fun to watch.
Look, it wasn't great for me to watch, but honestly,
obviously
the atmosphere was fantastic. It really was. It's the first time I felt that way. I think to a degree we played Palace last year, but it was a reduced capacity. But this one, you could really feel that it was a real thing. And it makes you realize how much of a cheapened product we've been watching the past few years. But good on them. They deserve the win. And I hope they stay up. I really do.
Yeah, about the fans, though. Wasn't that just amazing to see how much passion from the players we saw? It was just, for me, like, I haven't seen a Premier League game like that passionate for so long, and it was incredible to see.
There was a point where the left back, he had cramp, and the striker I referred to, Ivan Toni, came back, and he was lying down on the floor trying to make challenges in the last minute. Yeah, just to give him some support. Yeah, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. They were really fed off the fans, and it shows you how much of a difference they make, or at least they can make, right?
So, boys, let's move from one side of North London to the other and talk about Spurs versus City. I'm sorry, Tony, we have to.
Okay.
What a result. Spurs 1, City 0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Heung-min Son with an absolute firecracker of a goal. City are going to go out and buy Kane now, aren't they?
We're doomed. That's honestly, that's it. Pep's gonna be like, I need 300 more mil to buy another striker, and who knows what else. But honestly, I haven't Spurs beaten City in, what is it, the last 4 games? I think I might be wrong about this. 4 home games.
I believe it's the last 4 home games that Spurs have had against City. They've managed to beat them every single time.
They're almost becoming City's little bogey team or something like that. So maybe, I'm not sure how much we can read into the result. City are still favorites for sure, but it was nice to see them lose for sure. I love
not just Spurs, but Espirito Santos. Is it Espirito Santo? He has a great record against Guardiola's City as well. He's gotten a few great results with Tottenham. I don't know if you're not Tottenham, with Wolves. I think they beat them last season as well, and the season before. And
I remember Adama Traore putting in some ridiculous performances against City a season or 2 back.
Oh yeah, that was against Mendy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always against Mendy, who
he was rubbish
probably
yesterday.
he was the worst player on the pitch.
He's barely a footballer at this point, honestly. Like, with all the money Man City have at their disposal, you'd think they'd fix that position. But no, I think Tottenham, they have the perfect manager for this fixture, really, because this is exactly what Santo wants to do. He wants to sit on the counter and spring, And Son was really, really good. Son, Lucas Moura, they were really good.
I was going to say, Lucas Moura was ridiculously good. Like, that was almost at his Ajax Champions League hat-trick level of performance, without the goals, obviously, but he was just, the way he was getting the ball past players and breaking the City press was central to everything that Spurs were doing.
Yeah, it amazes me how fast he is, even come late stages of the game. He's still running as fast as he was at the start. Lucas
It's that bald head makes him aerodynamic. Tommy,
when
you need to get on that. Shave that head. Go faster.
I think I'll wait.
About those marginal gains.
Decades or so for that. But I mean, when Lucas is on, and he's not just he's always fast, but when he's on, he's having smart passes and deadly on the counter. He is fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
Bergwijn was really. I mean, he got into some good positions yesterday, but just didn't have any confidence to finish off.
He blew a good chance in that game.
Yeah. But,
so I don't think we can really talk about this game too much without bringing up Jack Grealish. It was his first start for City. How do you boys think he did?
He reminded me of there's a great meme going on where of Keira Knightley from Benelli Beckham. I don't know if you guys have seen that. But let's just say he wasn't very stellar.
I think they have a bit of a problem with Grealish. He plays in the pocket that Sterling wants to play in. They were almost replicating themselves in a way. And this style of play that he has, where he takes on a man and gets fouled, it's all well and good when you're Aston Villa and you need to relieve pressure, but he's going to have to start making more intelligent decisions and taking up better positions. Don't get me wrong, he was really good at retaining, moving the pieces around. But remember, Uzair, we were talking about this a while ago. There's not enough end product in his game right now. And he's a £100 million player. He needs goals and assists. That's the only way this is going to be a success. I don't know. He's taking on one of the 3 attacking midfield slots. I'm just not confident that he's going to get the goals that Man City need on days like this. They're looking for someone to ease the creative burden on Kevin De Bruyne. And I don't know. It's his first game. It's a tough game to start off with. Tanganga had a free run basically at his ankles. But listen, it's one to keep an eye on because I'm not convinced that signing was one that City really needed. There was probably another player watching, another English darling that they might need a bit more.
Well, I guess might as well talk about the elephant who was, very much absent from the room. What do you think Harry Kane made of all this? Because I personally think this is just going to force City's hand into paying the 150 million that Levy wants.
Yeah, I agree. For me, that this results kind of just tells Pep that they need to do more. And I think if they get a striker like Kane, that squad is even more terrifying than they already are, to be honest.
Yeah, they need a striker. They need presence in the box. Guardiola, he has this obsession with trying to play no strikers. He kept doing this at Barcelona where he put Fabregas up front. And even Arteta spoke about it recently where he's getting close to finalizing this system, I guess. But crosses kept coming in, and I think they have Ferran Torres up front. I don't know. He just looks weak in the box. And on the one hand, maybe this fools Tottenham into thinking that, hey, we don't need Harry Kane. We can play Son up there. We'll be fine. Let's reduce our demands a bit. Not that I think Levy is going to think like that. But on the other hand,
No, I will say there were a lot of points in this game where Son would pick up the ball at the edge of the box and look up to make a cross, see no Kane, and then just turn back. Especially in the first half, it was very obvious that they were missing Kane.
Yeah, no, but I do think City they'll go for him aggressively. He's the kind of striker Guardiola does like on the odd occasion that he plays one that can drop deep, link up the play, but still get in the box and be a presence. So, yeah, I think it might happen, but I think it will happen very, very late. I think Daniel Levy will try and squeeze every dollar, every pound that they can get out of City. So,
can you imagine, City sign Kane for, let's say, 150 mil, 160, whatever. They make the Champions League semifinals. Kane's probably going to be on the bench, right? He's going to play false nine, probably. I can already see it.
He might play right back.
Yeah, he might even play. He might even play defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to see Kane. It'll be fun for me to see Kane away from Tottenham. It won't be great for the league, but
it'd be terrible for everyone else.
Yeah, basically. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe this gives Kane second thoughts. Maybe he thinks something special is happening. I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see if City pay the money. Historically, they haven't paid ridiculous fees like 150. I think Grealish is by far their most expensive signing.
He's their most expensive since De Bruyne, I believe.
Yeah, who was about 60 million, right?
Yeah, 60 to 65 in that range.
Yeah, so whereas we're talking about 100 million more than that. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, definitely.
For now, I guess we just enjoy the result, or in the case of Toni, we just
don't sleep.
Drink more.
Keep at it, boys. Keep at it.
All right, moving on from North London. This is the one that I really want to talk about. Manchester United 5, Leeds United 1. Oh my days, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandez. What a performance.
There were some nice goals in this game. I'll admit to that.
Yeah, the weird thing is, Leeds might have had the nicest of the bunch.
Oof.
If it wasn't for Bruno's hat-trick. That last goal was just, delicious.
I think Luke Ayling's goal was better.
How dare you? I will not stand for this.
No,
not
I
on this podcast.
I was a screamer. Come on. Luke Ayling's goal was brilliant. I don't think the ball moved at all. I think it's just an arrow into the top corner. But, hey, no, look. Lindelof's pass for Fernandez's goal was sensational. It's something he has in his game. He's a good ball playing center back.
He is essentially what Arsenal are hoping to get out of Ben White.
Whoa. No. We are not hoping for Lindelof. We're hoping for way more than Lindelof, I'll tell you that much. But, yeah, no, it's a good pass. He's a good passer of the ball.
Imagine paying 50 million for Victor Lindelof.
Didn't you do that?
No, we paid 30.
Oh, you sure? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but Bruno Fernandez, he loves this system that Solskjaer has, where he can just attack the box, attack the net. Doesn't have to make the plays.
You could see the difference in how he played this game versus how he was playing in Portugal's system, where he's forced to sit deeper, where he's forced to check his runs. because he's got your likes of Ronaldo and Jota in front of him, so he doesn't quite have that space to go into, and it just makes all the difference in the world. I think it also really helps that Mason Greenwood had probably his best game in a United shirt. He was doing a really good job of making the right runs and opening up that space for Bruno and Pogba to run into.
Yeah, that's always been my big criticism of Greenwood, his movement. But he made a lot of selfless runs, I guess you'd call them, to stretch the pitch and move their defenders around. I mean, look, Leeds they're a pretty bad team defensively. They always have been. So I don't know. Well, let's not over-index. I'm going to pour some cold water over your fire there.
I will relish the cold water because it is far too early in the morning and I've had not enough coffee.
Yeah, but no, I have United as being strong title contenders this season. I think you have the second best starting 11, maybe even the best if City don't sign anyone. And I don't know. This position that Paul Pogba has been playing recently is really interesting. Gary Neville, who has a direct line to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he keeps changing where he thinks Pogba's best position is. One day it's number 10, the next day it's left side of a 3 in midfield. And towards the end of last season, he said he thinks it might be left wing. And I think the answer with Pogba is a little bit combination of all three. But in this pocket, in this system, especially with Fred and McTominay behind him, the two of them kind of make a contact.
Yeah,
you know,
it gives him the license to roam.
Yeah,
and especially when we're playing a team like Leeds, where they were leaving the spaces in behind for Fred and McTominay to progress the ball, which is always the big issue with that pivot, is the ball progression.
Yeah.
Once if they're given the space to actually do that and effectively get the ball up to your Brunos, to your Pogbas, to your, I guess, Dan James in this case, and those players are allowed to drive at the defence, that's when United look really, really good.
Yeah, it essentially allows Bruno Fernandez to become a third attacking or a third forward, and from time to time Pogba then drops in to make it a midfield 3. So it's really interesting. Also allows Luke Shaw to get forward. But
at this point, I'm convinced that nothing will stop Luke Shaw from getting forward.
Sure. Great.
Tony, don't hate me because I have hope for my team.
Cold water. Relax.
All right, let's move on and chat about Chelsea Palace. Or, Chelsea against, honestly, a bunch of training cones. Because, Tommy, Palace gave me nothing from that game. Chelsea absolutely smothered them.
Yeah, it was a game where if you don't support Chelsea, you're not watching this game. But for me, it was very enjoyable. Seeing... Honestly, whenever I see Marcus Alonso on the team sheet, I'm like, how is this guy still here? How is he still making the 11? And then he goes out and he plays like that. I don't know if you guys... His free kick. What a perfect... not perfect, but that was a beautiful free kick. And I'm looking at this team and I'm seeing so many positives right now. I'm on a high. And we just signed Lukaku after banging in 3 goals like that. We're playing Arsenal next after this. This season for me, why am I so optimistic? I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be...
Maybe it's because you're just coming off a Champions League win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Really
Tommy. One of the best moments in your club's history, and you've forgotten it after about 3 months.
It's just more
unbelievable.
I just know that whenever things are going so well, something always happens. Right now, Tuchel, amazing coach, right? He's doing checking all the boxes, doing everything right, picking the lineups perfectly. We finally got our striker, and you can talk about if it was overpaid or not or whatever. It doesn't matter. You get the player that you need, you pay the money. It's like what you did, what Liverpool did with Van Dijk. $75 million, 100% worth it because they got the player that they needed. For us, we got him. This performance, though, I mean, yeah, you can't really write too much about it because the Palace are poor. I think they're good candidates for relegation, in my opinion.
Okay, so we have two of Tommy's relegated teams. There we go.
Yeah, you've already got two.
God damn it, Tommy.
There's not much mystery anymore. But yeah.
I will say, watching Trevor Chaloba's goal and his reaction to that, like, that put a smile on my face. You could see how much it meant to him, and he's if you count the European Super Cup as well, he's off to a really good start to the season, and it's been interesting seeing him get some game time.
I guess we don't have to sign a center back anymore. We all of a sudden our youth products are just performing amazing. We had Mason Mount a couple of seasons ago, Reece James as well, Billy Gilmore, who we shipped out on loan, I think, to Norwich, I believe. But I mean, we have some great youth products coming up, and to see them perform now in the Premier League, it's just that stuff does bring you, real joy, because it's just that the performance today but the performance Saturday from Trevor Chalobah was amazing. I don't even think we need to sign a center back anymore after that.
I have nothing to say.
I guess in that case, do we want to quickly go over the rest of the results from around the league? Liverpool beat Norwich 3-0 in a game where it just looked like a palette swap of the Chelsea Palace game. Liverpool completely walked all over them.
It looked like a Liverpool Norwich game. They always do this to Norwich. It's yeah.
I'm shocked it was only 3 goals.
Honestly, that's why I think everyone captained Salah, because we just figured, yeah, he'd definitely score, probably get an assist. Yeah, it's like a guaranteed 3-0 win at least.
I would like to shout out that the one person who did ask me for fantasy advice, I told them to get rid of Firmino, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and James Tarkowski from their fantasy team. So if anyone else wants terrible fantasy advice, please message me, because all 3 scored this week. Rafa Benitez got off to a winning start with Everton. I'm assuming no one watched that game, because there was about 5 games on at the time.
No, I did not, but Richarlison, he is having a great time at the moment. I think he went to Copa America. He did go to Copa America. He had a good time there. Got an Olympic gold with Brazil. And he's basically had no rest, and he's going straight into this. I think he might hit a brick wall come December, but he's in great form right now. Might be a good shout for an early pickup, an early fantasy pickup. But Benitez, it's going to be really tough for Everton fans to fall in love with him, but if he keeps getting results like this, it might happen quicker than they think.
Football fans have short memories.
Yeah. Give them 3 points.
I don't know if you guys saw the highlights of this game, but Doucouré had an absolute banger in this game. He kind of did a quick turn in the box, top corner, and that was the game. Just seeing the fans in that game were going absolutely wild. Very, very fun to watch. But I guess just watch the highlights for that. But that's the kind of game where, seeing those fans in the stadium there was just amazing. Again, the passion was incredible, and I don't know. I think Everton, they might surprise us this season. To be honest, if I had to pick a sleeper pick for a squad, they're maybe not as, I don't know, as much depth as maybe some of the other teams in and around them. But Benitez is a solid manager. He's done a great job, and I think they might do good. Like you said, Richarlison has been on fire as of late, and if he can keep that up, and they got something going for them for sure.
I think Everton. They'll find a way to finish 9th.
Yeah, they'll win the Everton Cup and come seventh or something. But yeah, they seventh to ninth. That sounds about right. It's typical Everton. Make you dream early on, and then have a terrible Christmas. But
So, since we're talking predictions anyway, do we want to move on to our season predictions? So, we know it's a week into the season. Transfer window's not quite closed yet. But myself, Tony, and Tommy have decided to put our necks on the line and try to predict what will happen in this Premier League season. Tommy, I'll start with you since you were so keen to volunteer your predictions before.
Yeah,
Let's hear, who do you think is going to win the Premier League title, and who do you have in your top four?
well, it's not going to come as a shock that I've picked Chelsea Football Club as the Premier League winners. This may be a bit of bias on my end. I may just be very hopeful and optimistic in this, but hey, you know what? We just won the Champions League. We've got an amazing manager. We just signed an unreal, one of the best strikers in the world. The squad is in the kind of the best place it's been in a long time, and we're gonna have a title push. That's for sure. So
Tommy's too happy. We're gonna beat Chelsea next week.
see, I told you, you guys will find a way to beat us, Arsenal, next week. But no, yeah, Chelsea for me. It's hard for me to bet against them, as I don't want to. So I'm going to pick them as my first place team. Now, I do think we're going to have not just a two-horse title race. I have City and United, going neck and neck with Chelsea all season long. So I think it's going to be a three-horse race there. But I have City finishing second, United third. And I had a little bit of an issue with who do I want to pick fourth. Because I was going to say Liverpool for sure. But there may be just a couple injuries away again from having the season that they had last season where they struggled.
They finished fourth?
They finished
they finished third. You finished fourth.
Yeah, that's true. But they barely finished there. You know what I mean? They had to really scrap their way to get there. But I do have Liverpool fourth. I wanted to make some bold, wild prediction, but just looking at all the teams and everyone, I couldn't get past those four teams. It was really hard to overlook them for a top four.
Tony, what are your predictions for Premier League winners in top four?
I really hate this, but I have to agree with most of what Tommy said. I have Chelsea as the Premier League champions. I think their squad is really well balanced. I don't think Lukaku's going to tear up the league, but I think he's going to have a very, very big impact in the sense that he's going to get the goals that Timo Werner couldn't get last season. And they are the champions of Europe, deservedly so. They have so many options. And there's no drama with Chelsea at the moment. I think they're going to be really tough to catch. I think Man United are going to...
And, yeah?
I think Man United are going to be the closest in terms of catching them. I just think Solskjaer's inability to get over the line is going to see United fall short once again. I'm tipping United to come second, maybe about 8 points behind Chelsea, just falling away right at the end. I think City are going to be quite underwhelming this season. I think there's a chance they don't get Harry Kane, and if they don't, I think we might be looking at City in fourth. If they do get Harry Kane, I think they'll come third. But I think Liverpool will make up the numbers in terms of the rest of the top four and be the third or fourth. So that's my bold claim. Honestly, it's difficult to look anywhere else. But yeah,
so
there we go.
What's the sad part is I have the exact same teams in the top four as the two of you. The more fun part is I am picking Man United to win the Premier League.
I'm so shocked.
I am shocked.
I'm picking the Premier League to be the trophy that ends Solskjaer's inability to get over the line, and I'm not going to pretend like it's for viable reasons. This is fully me just drinking the Kool-Aid. And I think it's fully because we got rid of that hideous Chevrolet sponsor. Now that Chevrolet is gone, it's all on the table again.
I'm sorry. Are we gonna pretend like TeamViewer is a better sponsor than Chevrolet? Your jersey looks
We don't have to
horrific.
pretend it is. Chevrolet is an ugly chrome, just God eyesore. It's off the shirts. It's off the
better
shirts,
than
and I'd never have to
TeamViewer,
see it again.
no?
Absolute no, I will not. No, absolutely
What?
fucking not. Don't
Oh
you
my-
ever fucking say that.
Oh
I
my
never want to
days.
see a Chevrolet. I don't want to see a Chevrolet truck ever again. I don't want to see any cars manufactured by Chevrolet. I don't want to drive by a Chevrolet showroom. Hideous fucking logo.
I'm hold on, it is TeamViewer. Oh my days.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
TeamViewer.
You really are drinking this Kool-Aid, but hey.
I've no Chevrolet. No Chevrolet means Premier League win. That's
Okay.
how this works.
Alright. I mean it's better than 3, but yeah. Yeah. Arsenal are winning on the jersey front. At least that's something. I sound so sad right now.
We'll
We'll
save
give
that
you that,
debate
Tony.
for
Yeah,
another
we'll give you
time.
that one.
I won't. But let's move on to who we think the Premier League top scorer will be. Tommy, we'll have you go first again.
Yeah, this one was definitely tougher, but I went with Mo Salah. I just think he's gonna be great this season again. I mean, he's been great the past 5 seasons in the Premier League. So it was either him or Harry Kane for me, and I just figured I'd go with Salah. Nothing else behind it.
Fair enough. Tony.
So I was tempted to go Mo Salah. The only thing that stopped me is the African Cup of Nations is coming up this year. So he might miss, if Egypt go far, he might miss 4 or 5 games. So with that in mind, I'm thinking if City do sign Harry Kane, there's a good chance it will be Harry Kane as a top scorer. So I've put down Harry Kane,
So
unfortunately.
I also picked Salah, and I didn't realize that the Africa Cup of Nations
same.
was
Hey,
this
Voice
season.
of reason. Voice of
And-
reason. I do my research, boys.
It's, and now I slightly regret it, but I think I'm going to stick with Salah and figure the 3 or 4 games that he'll miss, Kane will miss him through injury. So
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
probably.
maybe Levy will price City out of a move for this summer, and Kane will just sulk and not score as many goals. Right, boys. Tommy, do you want to go over the relegation candidates you already mentioned?
Well, you know 2 of them, right? So Palace and Brentford. I also think my third choice. This was definitely a bit harder. I think I wasn't like 100%. It's gonna be.
There's definitely like 6 or 7 teams that you could choose from.
Yeah. It was. I was thinking Burnley didn't have a strong season last season, and they definitely could be in there. I didn't want to say, but I'm thinking also like a team like Newcastle could struggle.
Nah, Joe Willock's gonna save him.
You think Joe Willock will save him?
Yeah.
Or Saint Maximin will save him. But to have Norwich in there just because they always tend to get promoted and relegated, so I just go with the safe bet and go Norwich, Brentford, and Palace.
Tony, what do you think is going to get relegated?
Honestly, this one was a bit straightforward for me. I've thought for a while Crystal Palace were gonna struggle this season. They've lost a few players. They haven't planned their succession, their squad succession very well. The squad looks old, in need of refreshing. I'm not sure they're gonna get enough players. They'll probably try a trolley dash towards the end of the window, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if they stayed up. Norwich, Tommy pretty much said it. They're a yo-yo club. They come up, they go down. They come up, they go down. What they do. And Southampton, I mean, we're talking about a team that has lost 9-0 twice in the past 4 seasons. So they don't have Danny Ings anymore. I don't know where the goals are going to come from. It's not going to be Theo Walcott. So, yeah, those are my 3 teams. Feeling pretty good about it.
So I believe my 3 teams were already mentioned. So I'll have nothing new to add, but I have Norwich, Palace, and Southampton. I do agree that the loss of Ings is going to hit them harder than it would hit most clubs, because they were not good for a long time last season.
No.
And you're taking away their biggest goal threat. All they have at this point is James Ward-Prowse, Che Adams, and I believe Adam Armstrong, who did score this weekend, but you're asking him to do a lot when you're filling the shoes of someone like Ings, who was, I believe, in the top 5 or 6 scorers in the league last season. And on top of that, they also lost Yannick Vestergaard to Leicester.
Yeah.
So
And Ings
that's a
wants
whole
out. Not Ings, Ward-Prowse. He wants out. I think Villa are chasing him.
I mean, like, you can't blame him when you see all the talent train around him. So,
Yeah.
all right. So moving on, Tommy, your player of the season.
Well, I had to go with my top goal scorer as well, so I'm sticking with Salah for player of the season again.
That's it. We're not expanding on that. All right, fair enough. I guess.
It.
Yeah,
Just
you did explain all of it before. That's all me. Tony, who do you have?
I have Bruno Fernandez as
What
the
a
player
good
of the
man you
season.
are. I
Yeah.
always rated you, Tony.
Yeah, I think everything offensively goes through him. I think United are going to score a lot of goals this season. I think they're going to be fun to watch. And yeah, I think he's going to pick up where he left off last season. And I think United are going to have a good season, not a league-winning season, but I think a lot of their good form is going to go through him. So, Bruno Fernandez. Don't like you, but I do rate you. So, yeah. Reluctantly.
So,
yeah.
I'm in full agreement with Tony. I do believe that Bruno Fernandes is going to be player of the season, because if I'm predicting a Man United title win, that's only coming on the back of Bruno Fernandes. If Bruno Fernandes has a player of the season year, that's pushing United to the title. And, he is, for all intents and purposes, the team at this point. And my God, what a lovely man to build a team around.
Don't
So,
disagree.
Yeah.
So, we'll put my slight man crush on Bruno Fernandes aside, and move on to our signings of the season, or our best signing of the season, I should say. Tommy, who do you have and why?
And why? Okay.
That's always been the part of this, and why. That's why I asked you for an explanation on the last one.
Yeah, this one for me is straightforward. I'm gonna say it's Lukaku. I'm picking Chelsea to win the title, and I think he's going to be the one who pushes that to make it happen. And yeah, just we needed a striker, and we got him. I can't ask for more. He's easily, you can say, one of the top 3 strikers in the world right now. I don't think you can really argue with that.
I can argue.
And
I
you
think
can argue?
we both of us will find ways to argue with that.
Oh, yeah, I guess you can.
If
you can
nothing
argue with
else,
it, yes.
because you said it, we will find ways to argue.
Absolutely.
Too
happy.
But yeah, I mean, there might still be some signings before the window closes. Like you said, we might have Harry Kane come to City, and that could be the one that ends up being the signing of the season, because we know how the quality that Kane brings to the pitch. But yeah, I'm going to stay with Lukaku for sure, just because I think Chelsea win the title, and he'll be a big difference in that.
All right, Tony, who do you have for your signing of the season?
So I want to start off by saying I don't believe Lukaku is one of the top 3 strikers in world football. Just putting that out there. But I do think he's going to be a brilliant signing. And so far, I think he's going to be the signing of the season. There have been some interesting transfers. United have a couple that could have a big impact. But I think Chelsea last season, they missed a goal scorer. I think Jorginho was a top goal scorer with 7 penalties.
Yeah.
And imagine having someone just finish off all those chances that Timo Werner missed. I think that's going to be Lukaku. I think he could get 15 to 20 goals this season. And I think those goals will be the difference between Chelsea struggling to make top 4 and Chelsea pulling away from the rest of the league. So Romelu Lukaku can't trap the football, but can put the ball in the back of the net. So, yeah, he's my shout for signing up the season.
Don't need to trap a football if everything's a first-time finish.
Exactly. The old Giroud, the Giroud finish.
I'm glad we got one mention of Olivier Giroud in on the podcast. Meet our quota.
I miss Giroud.
He's exactly the kind of forward that Arsenal could use right now. Like someone of his kind of ilk. Bring others into the play, finish off chances. But before I go off on a Giroud tangent, which will happen at some point, my signing of the season is Raphael Varane. Because a lot of issues in United's defensive structure came from having to compensate for Lindelof getting just overrun. And Varane is the kind of signing that's just exciting. He's, 4 times Champions League winner, if I'm not mistaken. He's a World Cup winner. He's 28, so theoretically right at his peak. And United didn't have to pay an insane amount for him. I believe the starting price is about 35 million. With add-ons, it'll probably rise to about 45, 50 when all is said and done. But it's the kind of signing that just gets you excited if you're a United fan, obviously. And I think the stability that he could bring to that United backline, which wasn't bad last year, but also had way too many sort of breakdowns in communication and too many instances of individual errors. The sort of shoring up of that backline could be massive, and I'm really excited to see him play. And if the reception he got at Old Trafford on Saturday was any indication, everyone else is excited to see him play too.
I've got to ask, why do clubs do this nonsense with training, with silly promotion videos? There's nothing better than just unveiling a player in front of the crowd. Good. Yeah, it was really
just have him walk out with the shirt, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you said. I have Lukaku down because I think Chelsea will win the league. But Varane is the kind of signing that allows United to play higher up the pitch without being caught on the counterattack. He won't be bullied by centre-backs the way Lindelof is, or can be at times. And he provides good cover for when Harry Maguire inevitably gets turned by a tricky defender. So, yeah, I think great signing at that price. Honestly, it's a ridiculous signing. He's not been in the best of form in the past 3 seasons. Allowed some errors to creep into his game. But a change of environment can, provide that spark that gets him back to his best form. And I'm really excited, actually, to see how Varane does. He's a defender that he's one of the best defenders in Europe. Maybe the second best defender in Europe, if you're counting Van Dijk as the established number 1. So good on United for getting that done. Really good signing. Which, yeah, I always have to think of Ben White when I think of.
With that, on that note of honestly more praise for United from Toni than I've ever heard before. I think that's everything we had to cover for the day. all that's left to do is to say that thank you for listening. Please go follow us on Twitter at 44took. And please check us out on, I believe, Anchor.fm and YouTube. Thank you for joining me, Tommy.
Well, glad to be here in this early morning. I'm excited to have another cup of coffee, that's for sure.
And thank you for joining me, Toni.
No worries, it was a great chat, as always. And we will drop the links to the podcasts in the description.
All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. And until next time, goodbye. And let's get this show on the road.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Fuck's sake, Toni. God damn.
Too good.
I will keep quiet. Yeah.